Hi, Doug from Skyway Tools. We're here at the shop today, and today I thought I'd gonna do something a little different. I want to kind of give you guys a background on uh, the tool business and how the Chinese tools evolved in the United States, and kind of give you a little history of it. So get your notebooks, your pens out. There'll be a quiz at the end. All right. I think it all. I started the tool business in '86, and before that, I was a mechanic and I worked with tools, so I was kind of familiar with tools. Uh, when I started, the first thing that I noticed is that there was a big influx of import tools starting to come into the market. And if you remember, President Nixon went to China in 1972, and that was really the first opening of China to the United States. Prior to that, Mao kept the country pretty well closed down. There was nothing really going out of the country. The economy was kind of going along, not really doing great. In '72, Nixon went to China, and it kind of opened up the whole trade business. And it wasn't until probably the late '70s, early '80s that China started manufacturing for export. Prior to that, I think everything was pretty much just for in-country use. But the export business started in the early '80s. So when I got into the business in '86, it was kind of just taking off, just really starting to grow. And I remember the tools that were coming in from China. They were very crude tools originally. They made pipe wrenches, very crude pipe wrenches, nothing like what they do today. They made anvils, just chunks of steel, nothing really sophisticated. They made vices, and I remember their vices that were coming in, beautiful looking vices. Prior to that was basically American-made vices made by Wilton, a couple of $100, nice quality. The Chinese vices came in, they were nice looking, but if you looked at them really closely, they were crude castings that they would cover the outside with Bondo or a body filler material and then paint it, and it would look great. Once you hit it with the hammer, that Bondo would come off, and then you had a pretty funky looking vise. But I mean, those vices came in from China wholesaling at under $20, weighed 35, 40 pounds of steel, and I always said, you couldn't send this back to China for the $20 that it costs for this item. But that was some of the first imports, and I have a few tools here I just wanted to show you. This is another item. A slip joint pliers is not rocket science. They made nice slip joint pliers back in the early '80s, mid '80s. Wrenches. Some of their wrenches were not so. The quality of the steel wasn't there yet. They hadn't developed the steel. The styles were all patterns after either European wrenches or American wrenches. And this is one wrench set that I remember as one of the first wrench sets brought in from China. It was an offset double boxed in wrench set. Nice looking set. And I was told it was patterned after a German machinery that was in China, probably 40s, 50s, maybe. That was machinery that was left in China after the revolution. They utilized that machinery and made those wrenches. They're a pattern, like I say, they're a German style wrench pattern, nice looking. This was a popular wrench set, and you could get the whole wrench set, 2, 4, 6, 8-piece wrenches, double end. Wholesale on these was under $5. They were just so cheap. And that was the thing with the Chinese imports, early imports. It was so cheap. They made other pliers, bent nose pliers. They made a chipping hammer. That was a pretty simple tool. It wasn't high tech. And now, sledgehammers, they made the heads. The handles were usually just a real soft wood. It wasn't really any good. The handles broke immediately, so they learned quickly. They didn't, I don't believe they have hickory in China to make the handle, so they learned the fiberglass handles came in. Originally, they couldn't hold the head. They would come off, but now they've kind of perfected it. But I've seen over the years now the Chinese tools have once they started bringing them in, the main thing about them was their price. They were so cheap. Everybody was selling cheap Chinese tools in the late 80s, and they just flooded the market. The American tool companies it was tough to compete with them. By 1990, 95, the year 2000, they learned one thing. They had to either go up on the quality. They couldn't go up on the price. They could go up on the price, and they would go up on the price, but the quality had to come up. So really, with the quality coming up, the price had to come bumping up too. So by the 2000, 2005, the quality of the tools were getting a little better and would last a little longer. By then, 2005, 2010, American companies started going to China. Vice grip went to China, made their vice grips in China. I'll show you right here. This is a vice grip made by Vice Grip, quality tool. People love them. Retails $50. This is an 18 SP with the pad, and I've just picked this one up not long ago. It's a copy, both made in China. This is half the price now. Vice Grip, they go by their name. They're probably a little better quality, probably a little bit more quality control, but their prices are considerably more than just a non-label. Some of your other, like I was talking, Wilton vices. Wilton went to China. Most all their vices now are made in China under the supervision of Wilton, but still Chinese made. Not quite the quality of American vices that we remember back in the 50s and the 60s when Wilton was all made in the United States. So that's kind of the history of the tools coming out of China. They've come up in price, they've come up in quality. American companies have gone there to manufacture. There's a few companies that stayed here in the United States, Channel Lock for one. They're still pretty much 90-95% all made in the United States. They do import their adjustable wrenches, I think from Spain, but all their pliers are all handmade back east. So quality tool, American made tool. So you can buy American tools that are still made here, quality, but the imports have come up in quality, and I see they're probably, I'd like to see the companies come back to the United States, manufacture here, but right now, because of the labor cost, I think that's why they're staying overseas. Anyway, that's kind of a background on the tools of the history of the Chinese imports coming in. And if you like, subscribe, leave me a note, and remember, this is Doug at Skyway Tools here at the shop. Thanks.